Brock Tozer hanging out backstage with Mike from 10th Avenue North. Thanks so much for taking a few minutes, Mike.
Man, I appreciate you coming to my living room here with the fire. It's wonderful.
Now, tell us where the name 10th Avenue North came from. It's kind of an unusual band name. What does that signify?
Well, it signifies a street. It has no spiritual meaning whatsoever. We were trying to find a band name, and we were trying to come up with all these philosophical names and stuff, and no one would agree on anything, and we were driving to our dorm room, and it was off of 10th Avenue North, and I was like, hey, what about 10th Avenue North? And it was the first name. Everyone was like, oh, I could live with that.
So it's the best you could do.
That was it.
Now, what were some of the rejected band names? I'd like to know.
The Memory Tree. There was a point where we were going to try to change the name, and I wanted to change his name to Formerly, like formerly known as 10th Avenue North. I think that's a great band name. Kids, are you listening? Formerly, you should do it.
Now, you're from West Palm Beach, Florida, and are all the guys from Florida?
No, we're actually kind of originally from all over the states, but we met down in Florida. We were going to college at Palm Beach Atlantic University, which is a little bit different than Canada on several levels.
Now, what are your impressions of Canadians in Canada? Have you been here before? Like, be honest. When you think of Canada, what do you think of?
Eh?
Yeah.
That's awful. I think of moose. I think of poutine. I think of Tim Hortons. I think of hockey. I think of maple syrup. I think of bobsledding. I think of generally good-hearted, warm people.
Very nice. Now, I notice you have a blog on your website. You don't blog too often, but what kinds of things inspire you to blog?
Oh, inspiration comes in all sorts of forms. I recently blogged about a commercial that I saw. It's a Subaru commercial where the dad is taking his little girl to the bus stop, and she gives him the most forlorn look ever. And then she, like, you know, begrudgingly goes up the stairs to the school bus, and then he jumps in his car and he races along the school bus, like making sure she's okay. I cried. I wept like a child.
Now, talk about the new album, The Struggle. I get the impression that you guys put even more time into this record than previous records.
Oh, well, yeah, we did. I don't know what that means exactly.
We'll just talk about the process of putting it together. Did you approach it differently?
Oh, yeah, you know, we did. We actually got a couple new guys in our band, and so before, you know, I would just kind of sit and write a lot of the songs just by myself with a guitar or piano, and this record, we were out on tour, and so we would get together and we would just demo out songs. So we would just kind of build tracks and all together as a band, and then like write the song on top of the music. So it was a lot more music first this time.
And the first single from The Struggle was quite successful, song about forgiveness, Losing. Good song. And you've just released Worn to radio. I noticed there's a video for that song too. Tell us about the inspiration behind that song.
Yeah, Worn. Worn is a song about feeling worn. I mean, what was going on in my life when we wrote that song is just had a close personal friendship where there's a big misunderstanding, and basically my friend had no desire to reconcile whatsoever, and so I was like basically doing everything I could to like work the situation out, and later it was resolved and big misunderstanding kind of a deal, but at the time I was just like, oh, what's going on? I want this worked out, and transversely or coversely, coincidentally, and both and also at the time my wife and I had just had a second child, and we hadn't slept through the night in like 8 months or something. So I was headed out the door to go write, and my wife grabbed me by the arm and was like, I am so worn out. And so I looked at her, I was like, you need to suck it up. No, I didn't say that. I didn't. You're like, what? Yeah, and so I just walked to the, you know, into the writing room with Jeff, our guitarist, and a guy named Jason Ingram, and I was just like, guys, I am so worn out. We need to write a song called Worn, and that's what came out.
Well, thanks so much for your time, Mike. Appreciate it.